Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Wileke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Thank you once again for joining me on this monologue. I shall be talking about a post that I came across on X. I don't know the person actually. It's I think the account name is EK God. He posted something that actually interests me and something I have been actually talking about, and I don't think it can be overemphasized because it is the reason why Nigeria is where we are under Tinubu's government today. It says, State of the nation under Tinubu, the biggest mistake Nigerians made in 2023. And I read, the biggest mistake His Excellency Peter Obi, the obedient movement worldwide, and millions of Nigerian patriots made on February 25, 2023, was not borrowing from the Orange Revolution movement in Ukraine, led by leading opposition candidate Viktor Yushchenko. I take this again. The biggest mistake His Excellency Peter Obi, the obedient movement worldwide, and millions of Nigerian patriots made on February 25th, 2023 was not borrowing the Orange Revolution movement in Ukraine, led by leading opposition candidate Viktor Yushchenko. In November 2024, or 2004 rather, after a presidential runoff election, just like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the establishment candidate Viktor Yanukovych, who was also supported by Russia's Vladimir Putin, was declared the winner. Now it's a thread. It goes into history of what happened. I'm not a historian, and I wouldn't want to. I don't care about this history here because the way I live my life, or the way I think is, I like being situations because Ukraine is different from Nigeria. Now, history is good. History teaches us some stuff. It gives us a guide, at least a preamble on how to do stuff, how to move forward. A sort of, don't get me wrong. History, without history, there will be no, of course, history actually corrects the future, actually, of future mistakes. And that is just the reality. But I don't. It's a long thread. I don't want to waste time dwell on it, but I just want to make my point about what he said on the Nigeria situation. Now, again, I don't like talking about going back to that because Nigeria is different from Ukraine. I believe every situation is situations generally are dynamic, and every situation may not. Most situations are not really the same. They are not. Line to line the same thing. So Ukraine situation is obviously was different from Nigeria's situation, and the environment is different from Nigeria's environment. So Nigeria is a country that has about almost 500 different languages. That is our own situation is a very, very peculiar, a very unique kind of situation. So, and I believe in dynamism in all situations. That's why I'm not going to be reading about the Orange Revolution. But some of you, if not most of you, know about the Orange Revolution. Actually a popular revolution. So it's not, and besides, it's not that long. So we understand that. Now, back to Peter Obi's issue. As you heard what I read from this guy's post. Again, the post is IK God. That is IK God. IKE. Then God, as in God. It's on Twitter. Okay. Anyway, I think you see it on the screen anyway. Um, now I have highlighted this earlier in the past several times on my show, both on monologues and dialogue. So, but I'm going to be expanding on it today. Now, um, eh, I, I- you see, I am an obedient too. I've said that all the look. I've received a whole lot of criticism. Some people called me names for actually criticizing Peter Obi on this issue. It's sort of so, but I don't care. I am that kind of person who really don't. It doesn't move me. It doesn't. Criticism don't change my. The criticism that actually affects me are criticism that I think are done are actually corrective. A sort of or something that I feel convinced that okay, it makes sense to me when you are correcting me and it makes sense to me. That's okay. I don't take criticism personally. That's just the truth. Some I just glance through it, and some I take my time to go through it if you're making sense. So that being said, now again, I'll be doubling down on what I have said before. Just like this guy just reaffirmed my position. He actually, Obi is the reason, de facto reason why it is his fault Nigeria is where we are today. And that is the reality. He is the number one culprit here. And the Nigerians, including myself, all of us are the second culprits behind Peter Obi. If you read further on this thread on the Twitter, you understand that you understand his this person's where he's driving at what he expected Peter Obi to do. Now, I think I expected Peter Obi to do similar thing, but not exactly that way because, like I said, every country has its own different situation. It's a dynamic. Things like this, especially when it comes to politics, there are a lot of dynamics that comes to play. That is just it. When Peter Obi, when INEC actually in fact, the night that when the INEC, it didn't started from the day that the election day when the server was the IREV was switched off, was a kind of turned off. The claim was that was an attack on the maybe cyber attack on the system. That was when obviously we all knew that was where the problem started from, and that is when that could have been the beginning of the revolution. We should have started crying out. Obi could have that could have been the time. You see, look, it is always good to be at the offensive when you are fighting someone if you are fighting a system and fighting someone that is a bully. You honestly do not let him place you on the defensive. Always try to be at the offensive. And that is what I expected from Peter Obi. He ought to be proactive and offensive during that election. And I expected him to start crying foul of the system even from the election day, especially the election night. And because if he had been proactive, if he had started roaring and started being offensive, playing, if he had positioned himself on the at the offensive position role, he could have honestly. I believe there could have been a kind of an iota, a kind of a level of fear instilled on Mahmoud Yakub, the INEC chairman. He could have exercised some restraint in moving further to announce that election. Now, Peter Obi could have done that, at least be on the offensive, and even if that didn't work, when the election when the result was announced at the wee hours of the night, I expected the next morning Nigerian woke up because all of us were awake. We kept in vigil, sort of waiting for the result. So some of us actually knew when the announcement. We actually watched the announcement and that stuff, whatever. So I expected people to actually at least Obi first. He could have played because everybody we obedient. We were just waiting for his command, his action. And I expected him the next morning, first thing in the morning, for him to hold a press conference, first of all, reject the result, and secondly, call for peaceful protest. Ask every Nigerian, every well-meaning Nigerian to occupy the streets peacefully. I expected him to emphasize, at least, emphasize peacefully. And that is it, so that the powers that be, the establishment wouldn't have anything against him by law. So, and that is just what it is. And even when Obi, because I understand people were waiting for him to do that, but even when Obi didn't do that, we Nigerians were supposed to. There were skirmishes of protests left, right, and center there. Just not that serious, but I think it was quelled down by military presence and intimidation, sort of. So, but the point is, they succeeded in intimidating the populace because the head of the expected revolution chickened out, was a weakling. And that is just the reality. So I expected Obi to call for press conference, then criticize the election, criticize the entire process, criticize what happened, then just call for protest, peaceful protest, and for people to occupy. And I believe, honestly, I believe strongly that Nigerians could have occupied the streets. As I noted earlier, yes, the protest may have degenerated into one thing or the other, one negative stuff or the other. That is what happens when it comes to revolution. Change does not come on a platter of gold. No pain, no gain. Anything good in life will always, there is nothing good that comes easy. There will always be one impediment or the other, one obstacle or the other, one challenge or the other. And that is just the reality. Nigeria, at this juncture, at this level in our society, there is just nothing. Nigeria can never get better unless we do something that has not been done before, that we have not done before. Unless we are open to actually taking and absorbing pain. Unless we are ready to actually face the establishment, the powers that be, and call their bluff. Unless we are ready to say, okay, whatever happened, if we die, we die. If we cannot see that Nigeria we have gotten to our breaking point, if we cannot understand, we cannot feel that this is now is our breaking point, then I just pity for us and the country. That is just the reality. And I just ask them, what is, if this is not our breaking point, what then is our breaking point? Is it our death and our coffins that is our breaking point? When we all have died? Is it that when we will now say, okay, this is our breaking point? When we can literally do nothing? This is supposed to be our breaking point, when we are still alive and we can do something. And that is what I expected of Peter. But Peter Obi was a weakling. He was not. He knew quite all right, and that was his fear. He knew quite all right. He will definitely be arrested. He will be incarcerated, and possibly maybe he will be killed. Possibly. Anyone who is leading a revolution has usually they sign their death warrant. They are open to anything and everything. They expect anything and everything to come at them. Peter Obi, that is why I just believe that Peter Obi wasn't actually, I thought he was deserving of our support until after the election, until he showed himself to be a very weak leader. No, leadership comes with courage and tenacity and resilience. Leadership comes with strength, strong will. And that is what some of these elements, some of these virtues, Peter Obi has it. And that is why he succeeded in actually governing well for 8 years in Anambra State. And that is why I consider him, up to now, I still consider him as the best governor Nigeria ever had recorded. He's still, up to now, nobody has beaten, and to me, nobody has beaten that record. That is just reality. However, on the national sphere, he has failed woefully. And that is why his words no longer make any sense to me. I don't even listen to him anymore. And I believe so many people don't. His words doesn't make any sense, any meaning, there is no substance anymore. It's just a talking point. It's just repetition of things he has been saying all these years. So it is no longer an issue to me. Because I don't feel he wasn't deserving. After that election, his actions actually proved that he was not deserving of that support. That support was a one opportunity, a lifetime opportunity. An opportunity that comes once in lifetime. It was an unprecedented opportunity we had there. We have never had an organic followership of a presidential candidate in the history of Nigeria. All the followership we've always had had always been monetarily induced followership. But Peter Obi had this followership that was so organic. People were so passionate, enthusiastic of him. People were so hopeful and courageous, especially the youth. We've never had a situation where the youth became so interested in our election. It was the highest point of interest from the youth. Tell me, you expect such thing to happen again? It's not. Look, things like this are rare. They are, like I said, they are lifetime opportunities. They happen once. Some opportunities repeat itself again, but opportunities like this, they happen once. We blew it up. Peter Obi blew it up, and we Nigerians, we follow suit to blow it up. Unfortunately. And Nigerians will, just as they have always come, people, some of disobedient have rained some curses on me or whatever. Look, they will always, but the reality is, we Nigerians too are part of our problems. Because we are not ready to actually see that we have actually, I don't know, we are feeling this pain. The pain has become so intense. Yet we are finding it difficult to really admit that this is our breaking point. Unfortunately, the problem is we all are as weak as Peter Obi, and that is why we fail even in the midst of pain, excruciating pain on us. We still do not see our situation as a breaking point, the current Nigeria situation as a breaking point. Peter Obi's case is understandable because the system is not affecting him. He's a billionaire. He has a comfortable life. And it is that comfortable life he's not ready to lose, and that makes him unworthy of the massive, unprecedented Nigeria support. That is just the reality. He's not ready to lose that comfort. He's not ready to go through incarceration and threat of death. He's not ready. If he was, and he's not ready to do that, then he's not worthy of our support. We need someone who will be ready to die, either die or live for us. And don't come to tell me that why didn't I go do it, or why wouldn't I? Again, if I were, I've said it before, if I were in Peter Obi's shoes, as famous, as popular as he is, if I were in his position then, if I were to be in his shoes then, I bet you honestly, I will do that. I will do what I have been saying about him. I will do that. For those of you who know me personally, you know that I will do that. I am capable of doing that. So don't come to attack me personally. It's not about me. It's about Nigeria. It's about our situation, our collective situation that we need to change, and change now. That is the reality. Peter Obi is, like I said, this cannot be overemphasized. He blew it up. People should stop listening to him. He cannot. And 2027, I don't understand. He's still warming up for 2027. Count just read my lips. Honestly, Peter Obi is going nowhere. He blew it up in 2023. He will not go. You can never garner the half of the organic support again like he did in the past. He blew it up. He disappointed people like me. And that's why you hear people like Kenneth Okonkwo had to pull out. He expected, I had a very long conversation, almost an hour phone conversation with Kenneth Okonkwo, where I think both of us are on the same page on this. We may differ on what the process, but we believe that something we both agree that Peter Obi could have done something. He could have done something. He couldn't have depended on the judiciary. He couldn't have become a pastor, a reverend father, preaching peace. Look, the Bible says there is a time and season for everything under the sun. Even God himself said it in his word. There's a time for peace and a time for war. A time to make trouble. If the time to make trouble, it's time to fight, comes and you are calling for peace, you will fail and fail woefully. And if it is the vice versa, you will also fail woefully. So we should always be sensitive to time and season. That is the problem. Let us be sensitive to time and season so that we'll be able to be guided guided towards the right action, right thing to do or right thing to say, or right thing not to do. And that is the right thing. That is the only thing. Look, it was timely. 2023 election was timely for Nigeria to experience that revolution. And Peter Obi blew it. It was time to fight. We all blew it up with Peter Obi leading us. It is so unfortunate. It is so unfortunate. So I blame Peter Obi for the pain that people, for the menace that have imposed himself on us, called Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who never won election, he imposed, and upon that, he is even doing things. So, oh my God. It is just unbelievable that this man keeps dipping us into chaos, economic chaos, and anarchy. Squandering our money, sharing our money with his cohorts. That is just what they are doing. That's why we don't even have National Assembly anymore. No checks and balances. What we have is a rubber stamp. National Assembly has become a rubber stamp to President Bola Tinubu. And that is just the reality here. So honestly, the reason we have a Bola Tinubu president is because Peter Obi failed and failed woefully. He was a weak, and he's still a weakly because he seemed not to have learned from. He seemed not to have seen that he made a mistake. He thinks he did the right thing, and he's expecting us to vote for him in 2027 again. Hell no, he will not. He won't go anywhere. We will not. Trust me, you will see it. Nigerians, he will not he will not get that kind of vote anymore, or followership. It's so unfortunate that Nigeria, a great country with everything that has everything that it takes to be a world superpower, economic superpower. We have everything. Everything. We were the largest economy in Africa. During the Jugulo, Jonathan, our GDP was $500 billion. Today, what is our GDP? 100 and something. I think 140 something billion dollars. Are we making progress? We are not, we were first, the biggest, the largest economy in Africa. Today, as at few weeks ago, we have the fourth. As at today, we are now the fifth largest economy in Africa. What a shame. A country that has all that it takes. We are the sixth largest oil producing nation in the world. We have all the name it, all the solid minerals. I think I wrote an article on this some 10, 15 years ago or whatever. We have all it takes. The solid mineral, we have I think about 60 something solid minerals generally or thereabout. I can't remember the figure right now. Out of the solid minerals we have globally on Earth, in Nigeria, we have 50 something of them. 50 something of them are found in Nigeria. That is on commercial quantity. We have everything. Are you talking about human resources? We have the best brains in Nigeria. Unfortunately, most of them are in diaspora, or some of them. Yeah, most of them. We still have so many Nigerians some of them that are people don't even know them, that are brilliant. And here we are. We have everything. Everything that it takes to make us to place us among the greatest. It is so sad. It is so sad. And this, I think there is a poll that came out and that placed Tinubu as the third most corrupt president in the world. Anyway, I will be talking about that with Barrister Manta on this show in a few days. Because that is anyway, stay tuned. You will get my view. Just look out for the next episode with my next dialogue with Barrister Manta, and you will definitely hear my voice there. So that is just it's so sad. It's so sad that we Nigerians have become indifferent. Some of us and most of us are indifferent and complacent in our situation. Even when we are victims, we still are not ready to fight back. And so many, as they always do, will come at me. Do you want to die? Nobody wants to die, or whatever. Then nobody wants to die. We'll keep suffering. We must be ready. There is nothing, no revolution that comes on a platter of gold, no change that comes on a platter of gold. If there is no pain, you can't gain anything. People will die either way, whether we die bravely or we die as cowards. Either way, hunger. Are people not dying right now? People are dying at the hospital. Look, people cannot be taken care of. People are dying of starvation. People are dying of sicknesses because government has failed in our economy and failed in our in our country's infrastructures, which includes the hospitals and roads. People are dying of accidents, potholes all over the place. So either way, people will die. So why don't we die fighting? Why can't we die fighting? For God's sake, that is the point. Let's die fighting instead of die as weaklings. And that is my angle. Thank you for being with me, and see you next time.